Canelo, Jay Martinez with Fight Hub TV. This would be a question for Canelo and Crawford. Canelo, always a big question. Why Crawford? Obviously, there's always more. There's other fights that people want for you. So why Crawford? You know, you mentioned before that Crawford wasn't your radar. The question for you, Crawford, would be: obviously, there's a bonus now for a knockout. Are you going to be looking for that bonus? If so, in what style?
Mike Crawford, you know, he's one of the great fighters in the last year. Obviously, he's a great fighter, that's why, champion. And my brother, Turki Alashi, asking so much for this fight, so we are here. And I think it's a good fight for the fans.
I was just giving you a word. I'm hunting everything that we got.
Question for Canelo Alvarez. Canelo, your coach Eddie Reynoso, he's one of the best ever to do it. What's the biggest thing you've learned from Coach Eddie?
You ask again, please.
Coach Eddie Reynoso is one of the best coaches to ever do it. What have you learned from him in preparation for this fight?
Oh, I learned everything. Eddie is one of the best. He's the best trainer in the world. And he have everything. He always try to learn something new. And, you know, we're going to prepare ourselves just especially for Crawford. We know he's a great fighter. But we're ready. We're ready to do it.
A question for Terence Crawford. You and Canelo are some of the best boxers in the world and in this generation. If you win against Canelo, where would you rank yourself among the list of greatest of all time?
This was for you, Dana. Everybody shut up. Obviously, this opportunity came really quick. Obviously, with your promotions coming in with Turkey. How does it feel having these two great fighters? Obviously, going to be Hall of Famers to promote this event for in September.
Yeah, obviously it's incredible. I wouldn't be where I am today without the sport of boxing. I've always loved the sport of boxing, and for this to be the first fight that I ever promote in boxing, it's incredible. It's an unbelievable experience.
Question over here for Crawford. A few days ago in Riyadh, you had said that you weren't getting those big career legacy-defining fights. How confident are you that a victory over Canelo would put you up there with those all-time greats and give you maybe that satisfaction that you think you deserve at this stage of your career?
I'm very confident. You know, everything's happening on God's time. You know, there's a reason why I wasn't getting those big fights, because God was preparing me for this moment right here.
Question for Canelo. Obviously, you fought some of the all-time greats. Where would this victory stack up against some of the other ones that you've earned? And where would Terence Crawford fall within your resume? How do you feel?
You know, it's going to be one of my best victories in my career, obviously. He's a great fighter, he's a legend, but you know, it's going to be good for my books.
Go ahead, sir. Dana, you followed boxing so closely for decades. What is it about what Turkey was doing that brought you to the table to invest so deeply your time into boxing?
What's the question?
What about what Turkey is doing? What about it that brought you so closely back to boxing?
Yeah, none of this happens without Turkey. Turkey's been able to make fights that nobody could ever make, including this one. I mean, this is a once-in-a-lifetime fight. This is the fight that people would have been talking about 10 years from now, wishing that it happened. It wouldn't have happened without him. And obviously the Crown Prince. It's amazing what these guys are doing.
And the synergy with WWE and Nick Khan, building a relationship with him, is there a chance we see some cross-promotional appearances in WWE?
We're talking about it. Maybe you will see me another
Go ahead.
Ryan Shepard for Death Pen Media. My question is for Terence Crawford. But when you were here in New York leading into Errol Spence fight, you said, I can assure you, you're going to walk away and say, Terrence Crawford is special. You're going to mark me down as one of the greatest of all time. When you visualize this fight and when people walk away, what do you want them to say?
Well, I want all the people in the stands that boo me, they're gonna cry when they go.
Everything you've done for combat sports. What does it mean? How does it feel to you to be one of the masterminds in what could be the most viewed fight in combat sports history?
I've always had this theory that if you put on two fights, if you get people to stay home on a Saturday night, you put on two great fights the same night. We have UFC Noche that night, and I know there's a lot of questions about this. The main events will not, the main cards will not cross over. You'll be able to watch one right into the other. So to be a part of a historic night on Mexican Independence Day, I feel very blessed to be here. And shake turkey and both fighters up here. It's going to be a great night, historic night for fighting.
Thank you, Turkey. Thank you, guys. One quick question. What can people expect on Saturday, September the 13th? You're looking beef, you're looking brolic. What can they expect?
An ass whooping!
I'm all about making history. I was the first two-time undisputed champion. And I'm going to change the first three-time undisputed champion.
Go ahead.
We're here with Inside Boxing Live. These questions for both fighters. We've seen some photos come out of you guys eating together, kind of joking around. The interview with Piers Morgan was very friendly. Can you explain to fans out there that it is a gentleman's sport? Is there animosity, and what can you make of some criticism like, oh, these guys look like they're friends?
Listen, they're like this. I respect Canelo, just like I respect every one of my other opponents before Canelo. But once it gets close to that time, you know what I mean, it's time to go to work. And when we go to work, I know what comes after that.
You hear that? You know, we are professionals. And when we step in the ring, it's going to be different.
Canelo en español para toda la gente que está aquí que habla español. Platícanos qué se siente y cuál va a ser lo más difícil de enfrentar a Crawford and later for Crawford. What do you feel that you need to go up 2 divisions for this fight?
Hold on before you answer. Go ahead, translate.
For all those people here from the Spanish ground, how difficult is this for the preparation and what do you expect?
No, obviamente Crawford es un gran peleador, por eso está aquí ahora como mi oponente, pero lo que sabemos hacer, entrenar al 100%, enfocarnos en Crawford y ganar y que sea un gran triunfo para México.
That's the reason why he's fighting me, that's the reason why we're facing each other, but that's what we do, we gotta do what we always do. It's 100 to 100%, always training, and it's gonna be a great triumph for Mexico.
Go ahead, who's next?